BLI, what's up, hustlers? It's Paulo the Ford Hustler back with another live stream. It's been a while. Hope you're having a great Friday. I just want to show you my sales for today.
BLI, what's up, hustlers? It's Paulo the Ford Hustler back with another live stream. It's been a while. Hope you're having a great Friday. I just want to show you my sales for today.
Rookie mistake. Anyways. Oh, it's Friday. We are up $154.06 units so far. It's been a great Friday. Happy Q4. And in this video live stream, we're gonna unbox my returns and restricted inventory, I guess, and stranded inventory. So it took 50 cents per item to get sent back to me, and we'll see if I can still sell them back on Amazon for the returns. Sometimes you're gonna get inventory that you can't sell because for some reason you get restricted. So I got that sent back to my address, and we'll see if I can still sell it if it's in the good condition that I sent it in. So let's get into it. Okay, what's this book? So I got this book. Let's Start a Riot. It's a former library book. So the reason why I sent this back to me is I listed it as used, very good. And I did not want to get negative feedback for it, because if you're selling former library books, you need to put them as used good or used acceptable. So even though it looks nice, it looks very good to me, I did not want to risk having a negative feedback. So I got this sent back to me. My goal is to relist this as used good and send it back. So it's 50 cents to send back to my house, and we're gonna send it back next week. So far, so good. Next, already opened this, but here's the book. Getting to know. Let's do some research how much this is going online. So I'm gonna scan it. So I'm gonna scan it with my Amazon selling app, and it shows a 781,000 sales rank, paperback, buy box at $16.96. Let's show that right here. New, $16.96. However, it's used. So used is $8.99, lowest price, Amazon FBA. You'd be making $3.09 if this sold. The reason why I brought this back home is because I put it as used like new. And recently, even though it didn't have any writing, maybe I could have overlooked it. So my goal is to relist it as used good and send it back in, because I don't want to get any negative feedback. Although it does look new, just want to be really safe with that. So that was another. So we got a big one here. I don't know what's in it. It's kind of heavy. All right, so we got two books. All right, again, I'm getting this back. These are former library books. As you can see, there's a tag. And this one has a stamp on it. Snow Isle Library, yeah. The reason why I'm getting these back is because I listed them as used, very good, and used, very good. That's not good because it is former library. Even though it does look very good, you want to always under promise and over deliver. So we're gonna relist this again as good, used good, just to not get in trouble because I don't want to get bad feedback. I have 100% feedback right now, so let's keep it up. So no worries. We're gonna relist those books as used good condition. I'm gonna send it back and they will sell. Next, we got another big one here. I've had these for like 3 months, just sitting here. Okay, that's why. It came in 2. Yeah, so this is another another library book. It's probably like 25 cents. I got for 25 cents. Another library book. Hardcover. The problem is I listed it as used very good. That is not good. Used very good. Customers could say like it's former library, doesn't look good. If you think about it, former library, these books have been sitting in the library for up to 10 years, and they get rid of it. Imagine how many people touch these books. So it was kind of dumb of me to list them as used very good. I should have listed them as used good or used acceptable and make sure that the customer knows that it's former library. So we're gonna relist these as used good or used acceptable. As you can see, there's a tag and it's crossed out. I tried to clean it up. It's so far pretty clean, but I do not want to get negative feedback for the condition. So just to scan it, let's see how much they're going for. Just scan it, just scan the, so you got the book, you scan it with the Amazon Seller app. Sales rank, 290,000. Oh, sales rank, 290,000, buy box at $18. Let's see what it's going for used. Prime. Used, very good, going for $9.50. So, like I said, these are former library. I only get these for 25 cents each, hardcovers, or 50-cent hardcovers. I don't know. We can see. I'm gonna relist those and send it back to the warehouse. I scanned this again. Hardcover, 88,000. Okay, 886,000 in books. Really good, decent rank. Let's see how much they're going for used. So when I scan the covers, I'm gonna click on used and then filter. I want to filter prime because I am competing with prime sellers. As you can see, lowest prime is $7.77. If I sold it at $7.77, you would pretty much make nothing. Yeah, you'd make 4 cents. So we're gonna wait till everyone else that tanks the price sells out. We're gonna send it in regardless, and even if I can make $1, $2, $3 off of it, I'll be happy. So most of these are former library books that I've sent back to me. My fault. Okay though, you can send it back in and potentially make a profit. And to send these books back to me, they are 50 cents. Okay, now this is the return, customer return. Okay, it's weird. Just if you remember one of my first what sold on Amazon videos, I got a return request for a nursing assistant book. It's this one. Customer did not say what was wrong with it. So let's open, let's see what's wrong with it. And so far it looks clean. I think it was like an $8 profit book. They put a new barcode on it. Listed it as used good. Whoa. As you can see, there's like some yellowing on it. It's kind of hard to see. But there's like a yellowing. Yeah, you can see that. I don't know. I don't know if I sent it in like this. It was like, it's filled out. I don't know if I sent it in like this. Yeah, it's pretty much filled out. So yeah, we cannot sell that unless they want it to be filled out. Looks like the cover is like filled out too. We can. So that's okay. It's part of business. You lose things. You don't get them as described. I don't know. It's fine. Whatever. So we can throw that away. Just wanted to show what a return looks like. So that was the only return. And yeah, that's it. I have everything. We already unboxed everything. Don't ask me why I have a Fred Meyer basket here. Cool. So yeah, that's the unboxing of the inventory that is stranded and the return that I had, the green book. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I will be reading one chapter of the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone live because I haven't been able to read this week. It's been busy and I should have made time for it. So we're going to do it right now. If you're watching the replay, thanks for watching. Let me know if you can hear me and if I can read clearly. Let me know. All right, let's read chapter 10. So we are at chapter 10. Put a bookmark here. If you don't know Grant Cardone, he is a real estate mogul, I guess. Sells real estate. You probably see him a lot on Instagram. Pretty cool guy. So far, I like the book. So far, what I've learned from this book is if you're going to do something, you better multiply it by 10x. You got to aim high. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You got to aim high and dream big, and hopefully you will make it even below that. Even if you don't even make it, you might have did more than you could have if you didn't. You would have aimed, okay, if you aim high, you probably would meet it halfway or 8 times that. But if you aim low, you'll probably meet it and you just meet it and you could have, there's more potential here. Anyways, that's what I've learned so far. Chapter 10, let's read it. Competition is for sissies. All right, one of the great lies perpetuated by mankind is the idea that competition is good. Good for whom exactly? It might help provide customers with choice and compel others to do better. However, in the business world, you always want to be in a position to dominate, not compete. Dominate, not compete. If the old saying is competition is healthy, the new saying is if competition is healthy, then domination is immunity. From what I've seen, competing with others limits a person's ability to think creatively because he or she is constantly watching what someone else is doing. The reason my first business has been so successful is because I created sales programs that introduce a truly original way of selling for which there is no competition. It was clearly a new way to think and approach selling. No one had done anything other than just copy one another for the past 200 years. So I ignored the competition and did something, created a new sales process called information assisted selling. This was before the internet and before consumers had information. We're at page 78. This chapter is like 6 pages. So if you're just tuning in, we are reading a chapter of the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. I haven't been able to read this week, so I thought I'd read it now and change up some things. I predicted the sellers would have to throw away the old ways of selling and learn how to use information to assist them. Although I was ahead of my time and traditional thinkers resisted once the internet hit critical mass, information was left holding on to antiquated systems and process. And I came out on top because people were thrilled to see something completely new. So I think Grant was talking about how the internet became new and people didn't really understand it, but he took advantage of it, and it was something completely new, and that's how he earned his success. Forward thinkers don't copy, they don't compete, they create. Don't compete, they create. They also don't look at what others have done. Never make it your goal to compete. Instead, do everything you can to dominate your sector in order to avoid spending your time chasing someone else. That makes sense, because if all you do is compete, you're just going to be at that same level. You could have been making something else different, and then once you make that new thing that is different, everyone else will try to compete with you, and then you can try to make another thing. Creating. This is really good. I like this part. Never make it your goal to compete. Instead, do everything you can to dominate your sector in order to avoid spending your time chasing someone else. Don't let another company set the pace. Make this your organization's job. Stay ahead of the pack. Make it so that they want to chase you, and try to be like you, not the other way around. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't study others' best practices and industry trends. However, you may want to make it your job to make those concepts to another level. For example, Apple makes computers and smartphones that didn't copy what Dell, IBM, RIM, and others were doing. Apple doesn't compete, it dominates, sets the pace, and let others try to duplicate its success. Don't set goals at a competitive level. Set them at a level that will overshadow and dominate your sector completely. Okay. How do you dominate? You may wonder. The first step is to decide to dominate. The best way to dominate is to do what others refuse to do. That's right. Do what they will not do. This will allow you to immediately carve out a space for yourself and develop an unfair advantage. Let me be clear. I want an unfair advantage if I can create one. Though I am always ethical, I never play fair. I seek out all ways in which I can get an unfair advantage. And one surefire way is to do this, to do what others won't. Find something they cannot do because of their size or their commitment to other projects, and let them and then exploit that. Maybe they are cutting back during a time when the economy is uncertain. This would be your moment to expand into those spaces where they are contracting. A company I was working with that was in dental implants told me the leader in the field and cut all travel expenses and elected that all client contact is done by phone and over the internet. To get a competitive advantage, we decided to dominate the personal contacts while the leader retreated. Domination, not competition. Never play the agreed upon norms within which others operate. The rules, norms, and traditions of any group or industry are usually traps that prevent new ideas, higher levels of greatness, and domination. You don't want to just be in a race, you want to be at the top of the list of considerations. Even better, you would likely to be the only one considered as a viable solution. You need to adopt the attitude that you have so much power in your space that your clients, your market, and even your competition automatically think about you first when they think about what you do. IBM did this so successfully that all PCs were referred to as IBMs. There was a time when Xerox accomplished this so successfully with copiers that didn't talk about making copies, but rather Xeroxing. That is pure domination of a sector that's not correctly protecting your trademark name. The goal at my sales training company is not to compete with others in the space for the revenue of the clients. Our goal is to literally make sure that every human being on planet Earth equates Grant Cardone with sales training. Achievable? Probably not, but it is a target we use for making decisions. We cannot compete, or we aren't competing with anyone else to be the best in the sector. Our goal is to dominate the thinking of all people so that my name becomes synonymous with sales training. Google the term sales motivation and watch my video pop up. That is the way to approach a sector goal or any endeavor to own it completely. So Grant talks about a YouTube video he made. You can Google it, sales motivation, and maybe he'll pop up. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. You can always learn from those who want to compete, just don't chase them. Sam Walton, founder of Walmart, was said to shop other stores weekly in order to see what they were doing well and improve on that. At the same time, he had the goal of domination, not competition. If you're going to duplicate the best of what others do, then hammer away at them. Champion that practice and make it yours. Hone in their specialties until they become your advantage. Do so in the point where you become the expert and leader in that area and dominate it so incredibly that they no longer even want to attempt it. You don't want to be the first to the space, but it is important to be considered first. If you get what I mean, the message you want to send to the marketplace through your persistent action is, no one can keep up with me. I'm not going away. I am not a competitor. I am the space. Most of you will have less money than some of the leaders in your space, even if you have less money than other players in the market. That doesn't mean that you're a disadvantage, although they may be able to outspend or out advertise you. You can certainly outwork them by using social media, personal visits, email, mail, networking, and so on. Create campaigns using the resources you have. There is no shortage of energy, effort, creativity, or how much you can make contact with your clients. Use variations of campaigns, of offers, information, video links, third-party validation, mail, emails, phone calls, and personal visit combinations to counter the expensive and often wasteful ad campaigns used by bigger players. When using activity to counter deep pocket advertising of competitors, never estimate how much activity it takes to be noticed and to maintain attention in your space. For example, people think that they can post twice a day on Facebook or Twitter and that they are creating an effect. You don't understand massive action if you think in twos, and you definitely are underestimating the size of the internet if you think a couple of posts are going to get you noticed. Like every other aspect of growing your business, you have to keep showing up over and over and make it obvious that you're not going away. So Grant talks about, like, if you have a Facebook account or Instagram account, you just post once or twice a day. He's saying, like, you got to be there all the time. You got to be posting all the time. I don't think he's saying like you got to be posting every minute, every second, but you got to make it known that you are out there and you are there to stay. If you can post on social media something of value, people will enjoy that and like it. But if you're just posting random stuff that doesn't have anything to do with what you're trying to show and preach, that is not good either. So I do agree with him. Just post once in a while, okay, but if you post consistently with a schedule, also with YouTube too. So I like that tip. I want to be able to post consistently, make my social media presence known, and not only do that, but also provide value as well. Updated value. The good thing about social media is anyone can play in the space regardless of his or her financial situation. It allows for unlimited creativity and rewards only for those who use it consistently and persistently. When I started playing with social media, I posted twice a day. I don't know what I was thinking. It was a moment of little think. We simultaneously began sending out email strategies once a month and found ourselves getting requests from people who wanted to be removed from our email campaign. So he's saying like he was posting every day, posting twice a day, and people started sending him emails that they didn't want to be part of this. That's funny, but it's part of it, from people who wanted to be removed from our email campaign. My colleagues suggested I back off. That is when I woke up and came to my senses. Instead of backing off, I made the order to increase the number of posts to 10 times what we have been doing. I then instructed my employees to start sending out electronic strategies twice a week instead of monthly, 8 times, and began personally posting comments on Twitter 48 times a day, once every 30 minutes. Each of them was written by me, and they were set up to be dropped in a certain time, although you might assume that the complaints and unsubscribe requests would increase with this massive outflow campaign. They didn't. Instead, we started receiving emails and posts of admiration for my activity level and compliments for the willingness to provide people with free sales and motivational information. The questions came flooding in. How can you do all this? How big is your staff? Where do you find the time? Do you ever rest? And for that person commenting, there had to be another 1,000 thinking something similar. And who do you think they were thinking about? This was not expensive to do and only cost me energy, effort, and creativity. At the same time I was doing this, the guy most people compare me with was asked what he thought about social media. He responded, I am still evaluating it. While he is evaluating, I am beating it to death. I posted one day on Twitter, I'm going to make Twitter my little bee. You know what I mean? I'm going to make Twitter my little beach. So, if you just read that, Grant was not intimidated by people who were unsubscribing, who were asking to be removed. With the emails, he was posting 48 times a day on Twitter, and people started to notice him and compliment his free content. So that's pretty cool. I should definitely try that, but that's on Twitter. I don't even have a Twitter. But if I had to, I have Instagram, so that's going to be 48 times a day, 48 pictures. It's going to be a lot. But it has to be, as he mentioned here, it has to be creative, and you got to put in the energy and the time to make that. This is a great example of domination, an outrageous thing of action that doesn't cost money. Think about domination like this. You can dominate if you don't penetrate, and you won't penetrate by using reasonable levels of activity. Your biggest problem is obscurity. Other people don't know you and aren't thinking about you. Yeah, people don't know you if you only post once or twice a month. You got to be out there, you got to be known, and you got to provide the content and the value. Another problem for all of us is just getting through the amount of noise in the marketplace. You have to do two things. I get noticed. One, you gotta get noticed, and two, get through the noise. In my case, we have made a decision to back off in order to satisfy a few complainers. We would not have expanded our contact base. The more I posted, the more people liked us. The more we put out, the more people we helped. As we blasted on this new program, we even saw posts from competitors mocking me. Oh, so the haters started rolling in. Yet, even these comments brought attention to me and my business. Two things will happen when you take the right amount of action. Number one, you will get a new set of problems. And number two, your competition will start promoting you. I love it when I have made such an impact that others who don't even know me are having conversations that raise awareness about my business, my products, and what I am up to. So what Grant is saying here is the more he posted, the more his haters and competition started talking about him. They were talking about what he said, something outrageous. They were talking about what he sells. Maybe it's it sucks, maybe it's not so good. But the point is, they're talking about him, and that's really interesting, and that's what you need to do. Get that traffic in. Sorry if it's kind of dark here. Let me turn on the light. Yeah, much better. We're almost there. For one company, determine the capability, actions, and mindset of those against who you compete. Do what they will not do. Do what they will not do. Go where they will not go. And think and take actions in 10x quantities that they cannot comprehend. Don't get too involved in competing on best practices. Take your actions to a point. considered unreasonable by the world, where you are doing those things that only you and your company could, or are willing to do. Something I call only practices. For one company I once consulted with, we identified places in which only practices could be employed. We discovered that the industry in general struggled with the practice of following up with customers. So we looked at what our competitors would not do and found that none of them would call back clients as they left the store. This led the company to immediately initiate programs during which clients were called back as they drove out of the parking lot. Managers then immediately started calling clients' cell phones as they left company's premises and asked them to return. If the call went to voicemail, the manager left a message requesting the client to please come back immediately. I have something you must see. Or the manager would send a text suggesting that the company had something to show the client right away. If there was no successful contact made, another manager repeated the callback program the same day and again the next morning. The results were crazy. Almost 50% of the clients returned immediately, and almost 80% of those became buyers at that time. Another 20% returned as a result of the later calls and increased the sales of the organization to new levels. This is an example of only practices. Wow, so that shows that when people were leaving, Grant's team was calling them, leaving them messages, specifically saying, please come back immediately. I have something you must see. And there was 50% of clients return immediately, 80% of those became buyers. Wow. It doesn't matter what you do. It does matter that your goal is to dominate your sector with actions that are immediate, consistent, and persistent at all levels that no one else is willing to operate or duplicate. Take any action and take it to the level that will separate you and your company from everyone who might be in your space. Be willing to spend every last bit of energy, effort, and creativity on distinguishing yourself as the only player there. Learn how to dominate by being first in the minds of your market, your clients, and even your competitors. Market conditions won't improve until you improve the way you think and approach the market. Even if you are in a weak market, you suffer less when you dominate it. Weak markets actually create opportunities because the players in those markets typically have become dependent and they don't know how to operate in a more challenging environment. Don't feel sorry for them, dominate them. They're not having bad luck. Their average think and actions are simply failing them. Like this week, it was a very down week for the market. I'll be doing a video on my Robinhood portfolio, but I was down like $40 this week. But you got to look at it as a way to buy. When it's at a dip, you got to buy right now. Prices are a little cheaper and you'll make the money when it goes up. The marketplace is brutal and will punish anyone and everyone who does not take the right amount of action. Now is the time to shift into making your every thought and action aimed at dominating your sector, market, competition, and the every thought of your potential clients. Quit thinking about competing, despite what everyone says. It's not healthy. It's for sissies. Interesting. That's it. And there's a little exercise at the back. I can't write on this. It's a library book. So definitely I would consider buying this on Amazon used and reading it. Oh, I forgot my mark. But that was chapter 11. Chapter 10. Competition for Sissies. That was chapter 10. Now we're doing chapter 11 on another day. So yeah, I learned about 10xing your efforts. That's pretty much what the book is about. But this chapter I learned about having your social media presence and being there consistently. Get people to think about you. Get people to think about you, talk about you, even if it's the haters. Drive that traffic towards you, and never give up. If you have customers, how do I apply this to Amazon and eBay? Maybe if I had customers that decline my offers, maybe I can send them a new one the next day. Or if I had returns on Amazon, maybe I can ask them what I can do better. The thing is to do action, make action, do something, just not do nothing. And that's what I've learned so far. So it's pretty cool. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're going to watch this in the replay, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll be really interested. And we'll be reading the next chapter soon. And thank you so much for joining me. Happy Q4. Happy Friday. Hustle mode on. See you later. Take care.